And we're about live. On live still.
What is this, 106th?
Whatever this live is, I don't know. 106. Martin Brees is on.
Hell yeah. Who's going? Yep. One. I have no idea.
Okay, YouTube just crashed on me. I'll stand by one.
Yay. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 106. Holy crap.
Oh, we're live. Hey, that was a close call. YouTube crashed on me when I went to say go live, but welcome to the 106th. Well, to be the 106th episode. This is our July live event where we give away some free stuff, talk to you guys before the podcast, and yeah. What's everyone doing in their shop?
Yeah, I need to get the YouTube's up so that way I can be a contributing member to society with answering questions. And so
Yeah,
I'm not seeing anything.
it's up and going. We got people in there. We got about 35 second duration. Got the wife texting me.
did we change the?
Nope, should be the exact same as it usually is.
I wasn't talking about
You're
that
good.
jackwagon. I'm talking about the YouTube, the Instagram password because it's normally signed in for me and it's not. It said it was
I don't know.
signed out and I can't sign back in. So
Well,
it might just be. There it is. Cool.
Yes. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, it was a little bit late. We had to get some podcast stuff out of the way before we jumped on here. Nap has a life now, so we have to. We're all trying to.
Yeah, I actually have responsibilities now, like actual responsibilities. Not saying what they're doing, it doesn't have responsibilities, but like compared to what I was doing, yeah, I actually have to do stuff now. I actually have to Air Force. So, and now I'm not just I'm not just a worker anymore. I'm the guy giving the workers their work, dealing with all the extra stuff behind the scenes.
With a cup of coffee and a clipboard, basically, and yells at people.
See, I actually wish I was that guy because then I'd feel more accomplished every day. I come home every day like super exhausted for almost no reason, it feels like. But I think that's just because I'm mentally exhausted from, well, I can't say the stupidity of my people because it's not their fault. It's predecessors' faults that sat in the seats prior to me. And I can't even blame that. And I can't blame the guy that was before me because so there's this thing called life. It happens. And he went through a series of unfortunate events, unfortunately, in his life that took him away from work and he wasn't able to get a full turnover. So his person that was before him, that person was sat there so long and boasted greatness, but really they didn't know anything of what they were doing. And his people were the ones doing it all. So when I asked him questions, I got the typical answer of, I don't know. Why is this over here? I don't know. I'm just like, I finally went to him and was like, dude, you're a higher rank. Do you have another answer other than I don't know?
Probably not.
And no, and it is coming from the guy that literally sits with his clipboard at the computer.
See, I told you it was a clipboard.
That guy does. I have a computer with two screens in front of my face every day, and I'm sitting here. I went from what I was doing so small, so little, I feel now, to hey, here's 20 programs. Oh, and by the way, you need to learn this stuff by October because you have an inspection. Oh, and hey, by the way, here's an entire section that's just not organized at all in any kind of flowing manner. It's kind of like our shops. Like right now I'm sitting here and I know I'm doing a lot of talking and going on a soapbox for the live here, but you guys get to hear a preview of what I'm going to talk about during the actual podcast. But organization of the shop has a lot to do with where outlets are going to go. The same goes for my actual work right now. It's like the flow is not there. So much wasted time traveling to get toolboxes or testers and all this stuff. And I'm like, what is this? Like, guys, Like, who in their right mind thought it'd be cool to say, okay, I got 5 of these testers. Let's put one over here. Let's put one over there. Oh, let's put one over here. And oh, how about over there? And I kid you not, that's literally what it is. And I'm just like, oh, Lord help the person that thought this was a smart idea.
I'll unmute Nick now.
But Matt Wackerly's here.
Yeah, we got a
Hey,
couple
Matt.
people that joined us here. Got Platte Valley. We have Matt. Well, who else we got here?
Why is Buster
Nick-
in here?
Buster. Buster Cherry. I know that guy.
He's an interesting fella.
Yep.
Oh, there it is.
Anyway,
July Live. Hey, found it finally. All right, cool.
Yeah, it took
But,
a second
yeah.
to pop up. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but anyway, back to you, man. It sounds like you have a lot of flow issues going on.
Yeah, but I do want to take a minute, and I think we can talk about this on this live because it won't be something we'll hit specifically in the podcast because I'll go deeper rabbit hole in the podcast. But so every once in a while, our the guy Dean the Wing King, he's like the boss of the whole base. For those that are on here listening to us right now, he called for what's called a safety down day. Okay,
Ooh,
so
I like those.
it's funny because just like in the wood shops, there's safety and all that stuff. Well, you have that too, especially in the aircraft maintainer world. And these two know what I'm talking about because, well, at some point we've all dealt with heavy machinery, equipment, stuff just going everywhere, best practices sometimes not followed, and those things. We talked about some of the things like we deal with thousands of pounds of equipment that go on the most sketchiest of hoists and beams and all this other stuff. And Josh has got
Or
safety glasses.
manpower.
Yeah. And the funny thing is Josh has got these glasses on. And the first thing I walk into going into this new shop, they're using hazardous materials. And I was like, I've only been away from this stuff for 3 years. I don't think a whole lot's changed. Where's your goggles and where's your gloves? And they looked at me with this weird look on their face, like, what are you talking about? Like,
You're not
dude, you
QA.
need to wear personal protective equipment. Like, if you get that crap in your eyes, you can go blind. Like come on.
well, that's what my mom used to tell me, and then I just asked her if I could do it till I needed glasses.
Oh. But then we transition to actual shop stuff that everyone else here in the chat would understand. I mean, unless they've worked on aircraft and with things alike, or loading cargo or any of those things. But in the shop, lots of things. It's getting to that time. It's July, summer. A lot of people in their garages, unless you're in Texas where it's 110 degrees and you're boiling. Guys, what are some safety tips? We'll start with weather and working outside in the garages. What you guys got?
Good one. It's a good one. Hydrate. A lot of people forget to hydrate. The next thing you know, they're all like, if it's hot in your shop, especially like myself, where it's over 100 degrees, you could get dehydrated really fast and start to feel the effects super, super quick. So make sure you're sucking down that water.
Yeah, don't be drinking a Busch Light or a Busch Latte or
No.
a Bud Light because that's not hydration, folks. It might have water in it.
Pedialyte. Get some Pedialyte. Split it with some water, especially on those hot days. It'll help you stay hydrated. Gatorade
Yeah,
is
electrolytes are
okay.
good.
Yeah. Was it Brondo or anyway? Plants,
Well, yeah, so
plants crave.
What you got, Josh? Hydration's good. What you got?
Know your limits. So quick little story on that. It was hot this last week in the shop, and I actually, for the first time, I think in my history in the shop, I came in and sat down, got an ice pack, put it on my head. I mean, I was overheated. I was just radiating heat, and I was sucking down water still. But you just got to know when to stop because if you can continue, you can mess up a project, you can lose a finger. Know your bounds. I mean, did I have stuff to get knocked out? Absolutely. Did it really do anything for taking 10, 15 minutes to cool down? Yeah, helped my mental state. So when I went back out there, and either pass out or lose a finger. So
You're exactly right, dude. Because you get distracted if you start,
Yeah, passing out. Yeah, it's a bad thing I hear, especially over a table saw. But we all like working, obviously, because we go to work, we come home, we work some more. we don't like sitting still, and with that kind of lifestyle, you got to know when to take a break. So I guess my biggest safety thing is know your limitations.
I'm gonna tell you what. When I was in Texas, like right now, obviously not so much here. It's been a cool, 70 to 80. It's been hot a couple days here, and I say hot. It actually has reached the high 90s here. We make the joke that I brought Texas with me, but in North Dakota, it's like peak season for hot weather, and then it's just gonna get super chill again. But when I was in Texas, the one thing I did have, which is an affordable option, is just get one of those big fans, not like those big blower fans, but because those cost a few $100. But you can get like one of those standing fans for like $100 and just let that thing go. What's up? What's up, Nick? What are you laughing about?
Look at the chat.
This is the guy with 9 fingers. I'm sorry, you only have 9 fingers.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
What?
The wrong H2O.
Oh my God. God bless America. Calm down, Dickin. But yeah, so a fan is a good option. But some people that have like standalone shops, like I think a couple people on here actually have standalone shops, have like climate control. That's like later down the road.
Would that be?
I'll tell you what, I'm gonna have something like that here soon. Because when the winter hits here, then I'll get into that in a little bit. Or actually, I can do it now because we're on the climate side of the house. So it does get cold in Texas. It does get really cold in New Jersey. And it's going to get really freaking negative here. I'm actually
It doesn't get cold in New Jersey. You're lying. I don't believe you.
I'm getting...
Forget already, Nick.
He left that behind him. He's like, no.
Yeah.
I'm getting an infrared heater, a natural gas infrared heater for my garage. It's going to be a 12-foot infrared heater that'll go parallel with my garage door, and it pushes out 40,000 BTUs of heat.
Okay.
So, and it's energy efficient. It was at the recommendation of old Stan from Lost State of Franklin. He's like, you could get that electric one, and it'll work fine. But the problem is when you're using like a 40-amp heater that kicks out 25,000, that's going to pull a lot of electricity, and it's going to drive the bill up. He said, now, the infrared one, yeah, it's still going to use some electricity, but it's not going to be as expensive. And I was like, I think I'll spend the money on a decent, efficient heater to stay warm in the negative temperatures here. Because they said, even when insulated garage, they said, when it's cold, it's cold. Like, it gets through everything here. Doesn't matter how good your insulation is. So I was like, well, I guess I better prepare for that. But yeah, so that's how I'm going to deal with that. A pellet stove. Yeah, a pellet stove in my garage. That would be interesting. The wife even said that. I was like, no. But yeah, so that's climate stuff. Getting to losing some fingers here. My garage is central. Man, that must be nice, Martin. Central heating sounds amazing.
That's not a weird flex.
Well, Stan told me to no BS get a freaking like actual furnace in the garage. Like, you'll lose some real estate. I'm like, what are we talking here? Like, what's the footprint? And he's like, yeah, it's like 30 by this, by that. I'm like, yeah, no, I can't lose that space.
Lost me at 30.
Let's see. So I wear. So
who is this guy?
You.
That's not me, dude. I swear to God, it's not.
That's
me.
why you're typing away like a freaking fiend right now. It's just giving you like yes.
If you don't know, Nick has like, I don't know, I would say almost up to 30 email Google accounts. So if you ever get a spam message, it might be him.
Yeah. We got eyewear, so I talked about that a little bit. Josh, you had your glasses on. But for those of you in the chat, okay, and to be honest, because I know I'm one of those people that I'm like, oh, I'm just making this quick cut. I don't need those goggles, and then freaking shoving something through the saw stop and I get that little bit of dust, and it still hits me in the face. It's right in the eyes. I'm just like, come on. And I'm like, oh, wait, there's something for this. It's goggles or glasses.
But they, yeah.
I think most of us
sawdust money shot.
Try 90% of the time to wear our goggles and our PPE, But I mean, like, I have these on almost every station. And the other day I was doing some routering, and I have it just kicking up in my eyes. My wife comes out, she literally right by the door picks this up and goes, "What about these, idiot?"
She called you an idiot?
Yeah, all the time.
Cheers.
Good job, Heather. No, but I'm definitely an idiot too.
Hey, so check it out. One more thing for safety in the shop that I want to bring to light. Your push block maintenance.
Ooh.
So most recently, I've been running my micro jig gripper through the blade multiple times now. You can buy replacement parts for it, and I highly recommend it because the more you run it through there, the more it gets worn out and it loses its grippiness, and then next thing you know, you start finding yourself using other things, and that's not what the gripper's for. You need to use the gripper to get the safety. You need to use a gripper to be able to benefit from the safety aspects of it. So,
yep.
I just ordered some new parts from Microjig website, and it's a fraction of the price. Like Morgan Hopp before he changed career fields, I guess. Business companies.
Separated from Microjig, I guess.
Yeah, he was saying. I remember he was saying that you could order individual parts, so that's what I did. Oh yeah.
I'll tell you what.
That's
if I could do a mini split on this house, I would. I just don't feel like adding more holes into the side. I've already got to put a big hole in the side of the house for this freaking laser exhaust.
There's some holes in this house. There's some holes in this house.
But that has crossed my mind. The mini split has crossed my mind. But yeah, it's funny the things that we take for granted in the shop. Like for example, your push block. We use it all the time. I use my little push block for my joiner when I'm doing like face, face planing on it or whatever you want to call it. And it's very useful. But the beautiful thing about that one is it's got these little hooks on the back, but it's still like starts to lose its rigidity after many uses. But spend a little extra cash to stay safe. I mean, if it's replacing things
is a good place to start with that.
Yeah.
So there are 1,000 different ways you can push materials through your table saw or pretty much anything. And there are good brands out there, but Microjig has their blocks, which like I wish I would have known about them way in the beginning. Because when I first got one, I hesitated because I don't know, they're like $50, $60. Mm-hmm. And I was using my own money on my own account at that point in time. So
now we're using your money, patrons. No, I'm playing. I'm just
no.
Don't do that.
Our business funds. Don't listen to him. Anyway, long story short, I finally went and the first woodworking conference, I bought one, and it literally has changed the game in my shop. And I'm not trying to push Microjig because they don't sponsor us or anything crazy, but their products when it comes to their push blocks are legitimately something that I think everyone should have and use in their workshop. So there's my.
I think it should be standard. I think it should be standard, like the standard style of push block.
I mean, they make some cool, like there's people out there that make some really cool like push sticks and stuff, which are very effective. But the one thing I think I like the most about like Microjig is that it has like the little, was it 1/4 inch kerf?
Mm-hmm. They have like a
little notch,
a quarter, yep.
And you can push that sucker right against the fence and get those really thin cuts and not have an issue.
You get down pressure, you get side pressure, and forward pressure off of one. When you use a push stick, you only really get down and forward. I mean, you can kind of push it toward the fence a little bit, but it's not as much touching the surface area of your piece. And you can't be scared of, like, mine has a bunch of cuts on the padding. Nick was bringing this up. Like, every time I made one of those cuts in the beginning, I was like, oh, man, I'm being unsafe. Well, no, I set it up best I can, but things happen during a cut. That could have been my hand, a finger, or, something else. But that block took the blunt. So, I mean, there's a bunch of different ways we could talk about setting up your table saw for a safe cut. You can, and how not to. But
do you use a writhing knife?
Yes.
Oh, don't even get me down that rabbit hole. I got in a whole argument with somebody about using one versus not using one.
I take mine out when I do dados.
You have to, yeah. It makes no sense to have that in there. What do you do with data?
I mean, I'd say like the alternate to like if you're using a push stick, is it like now I'm sorry, I don't know actual name for some odd reason. I haven't seen the name on here. The double CNC. Is that Clint? That's Clint, yeah.
Yeah, it's Clint from Or
You can use those the guides. Those sauce like the Sauce Stuff has those guides you can use for like the material. I think it's really good for wide stuff, but for the thinner stuff, I think the
You talk about feather boards.
Kind of like a feather board. The Justin stock guides that we have.
Oh, the
ones
Justin
that-
stock guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are amazing. You can put those on any table saw though.
Are those
Yeah.
good for every cut, or is it better for like panels and stuff like
It's
that?
good for stuff wider than like I would say 4 to 5 inches, just because you have to clear the rollers and let the rollers do their job. That's really
So for those of you who've never seen it before, it's like 2 sets of rollers and they slide out from the fence, and the rollers are canted in towards the fence. So they have rubber on them, and they're spring loaded. So when you set them up just below the surface of the item that you're going to be pushing through them. So once the piece of wood slides underneath the wheel, it lifts it up, and that downward force and that sideways force into the fence stays constant. And it's basically a force multiplier.
you got it, Josh. I was like, where's this cat at? But all right, so we go off of the rabbit hole there on those guides. But one last safety tip before we get into our giveaway here, because it kind of ties right in. Sanding and finishing. I'm terrible at wearing so we're not giving away a mask or a ventilator. We're giving away some other stuff, but I don't use a mask very often. And I think it's something we all should invest in and definitely use. And there, by the way, using the RZ or Boot Camp or whatever other ones that are out there, those are really good for like sawdust and stuff like that, and fairly decent for like if you're doing quick sprays. But what I did find is when you do like prolonged like finishing with a gun or something, they're effective to a point, but you're still getting some of that, like some of the fumes and some of that stuff. So getting a proper ventilator for that, I think, is a super safe bet. I mean, they're what, like $30-$40 for a 3M?
3M respirators.
The respirators are really good. I have one. I usually use that for like painting and stuff. Now I always have it. I've spray painted in the garage a lot and didn't use one. Wife comes
And
out.
then you have the
she's
stuff all in your nose when you're done.
My wife's like, woo! I'm like, she's like, how are you in there? I'm like, I feel good. I'm going all night.
I sprayed white spray paint one time. It was the kill shot stuff. I wasn't wearing one, and it looked like I had white stuff all inside my nose hairs. And I was like, man, it was ripping some lines of paint or something. Because damn,
It's like the next day you go to work and you blow your nose and you're like, oh shit, I'm dying.
But yes, the message is wear a respirator, wear a mask. It's going to save your lungs and just your health altogether. But getting into our giveaway here, Nick, what do we got to give away, bud?
We've got the Orca Abrasives buffing pads for your favorite oil application onto wood products,
really
as well as what's that? No, it goes great with the Total Boat Wood Honey or the Wood Butter, whatever they call it. I ordered, by the way, some of that walrus oil.
Yeah, that's such good stuff, man. I use it too. It's pretty good.
It's one
But
of the
back to
first
our giveaway,
finishes
sorry.
I used from them, yeah.
Sorry, back to our giveaway. Giving away, we've got 3 of those buffing pads going out to one lucky winner.
Not
as
Donald
well,
Starnes.
Ducky, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to.
He's running low.
Likewise, we have some sanding blocks that I believe are 120. They're 120, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
No, are they from? I thought they're from Orca as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did have those.
And then we have there'll be 3 of those, as well as the Gator sanding pack. What was in that Gator sanding pack, folks?
It was that mini sander block with some different sandpapers, like
Okay.
120, 180, stuff like that.
And last but not least, that lucky winner will also get. Uncle Nick found some of these tumblers laying around with the
That's
Sawdust
not
Nation
creepy
logo on them.
at all.
Anyway, so
So sorry, Platte Valley. We support the makers by the makers. So fortunately, that won't be given away here. But that's all I got to say about that.
what
But,
will be given away?
Platte Valley goes any Odie's oil. I go negative.
No, sorry.
We won't go.
Right.
We won't go down that rabbit hole again. We promised.
We listened last episode.
The last episode, you'll get your fill of how we felt about that whole situation. But let's get this drawing out because I think we're getting ready to get going back to the actual podcast and start giving all the real good stuff.
JP,
Yeah, I'm-
juicy content. JP showed up. JP Woodward.
JP shows up just in time, right? All right. Numbers 1, 2. All right. Somebody give me a number.
4.
Somebody give me a number. 4. All right, let's run it 4 times. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, I don't know. 3,
Yeah, Martin agrees.
4. Oh, Mr. Matt Wackerly won again.
Matt Wackerly, one of our patrons, the extra entry.
Yep. Hey,
Joey
Matt.
the Buff Club.
I think I still have a package for you here already, so I'll just send everything.
Hey, so real quick, folks, I do have a plug. So check it out. Sawdust Nation podcast page. We're at like a steady 1864 on the followers. I'm going to be posting up something here a little later tonight. So I'm not up and running yet, but I'm going to be for our 2,000th follower, whoever that lucky person may be, is going to get a mug with the Sawdust Nation logo on it, as well as their logo if they have one. Putting that up on the table. I should be up and running hopefully by then, so we'll be putting some stories and some stuff up for that.
What'd you say, the 2,000th like or 2,000 follow?
Yep.
Oh, well, I'm going to unfollow and I'm going to wait till 1999.
No, don't you dare. But yeah,
Wait, you
so I
don't
wanna
even
go
follow
ahead
the
and-
page.
Yeah, I do.
He's looking now.
He will now. He will on 2,000. But oh, who's the 2,000th follower? MPG. What the? But yeah,
I'm
so
gonna
I
pick-
figured help us out. Share some stuff. Share the stories. Share the feed so we can get them 2,000 followers, so we can get that lucky person their mug. Who doesn't like the beer mug? You know.
I'm gonna do
Hey,
the
Matt,
Air Force thing here, and I'm gonna piggyback off a nap.
I hate you. I hate you so much. I hear that so much right now. I can't even stand it.
I know, that's why I did it. First of all, Matt, congrats for winning the giveaway. But in all truthfulness, we really want to get the Sawdust Nation podcast page, even our old pages, up in their followers. So go ahead. If you're not following one of us, please follow the Sawdust Nation podcast page. Give us some shout outs so we can share them on the page. You know, tag us in your work so we can share what you're doing, get your name out there as well. We would like to start doing that. So, you know, if you're making sawdust, you know, just tag us. Hashtag Sawdust Nation Podcast or SDM Pod. There's a couple out there that we use. So,
yep. And just so you all know, we're for makers by makers. That's what the Sawdust Nation podcast is.
There's 3 makers. There's only 3 of us.
he's learning how to count still. He's maintenance again. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
We're 3
All
makers
right.
by makers.
But hey, folks.
let's wrap this up.
Yeah, go ahead, Josh. Wrap her up.
Yes,
Hey,
Patreon
don't
members, you can watch the podcast live when we start recording. You will
Yeah, Patreons,
be able to.
jump right on.
Yep. So,
Hey,
all right,
go make some sawdust if you're not a Patreon. And with that, we're going to let you guys go. Thank you for joining, and tune in next time to win some free stuff. And with that, Sawdust Nation.
Transferring over.
Okay, transferring. Out. There, out.